To a ZAGSBLOG NBA draft recap. The 2020 NBA draft took place this past Wednesday, and I'm joined by Adam Zagoria to talk winners and losers of the 2020 NBA draft. Adam, how are you doing today?
Doing great, Jacob. It's been a whirlwind couple of weeks here with the draft and free agency, and it's all going to get started pretty soon.
Exactly. So we saw the draft on Wednesday. Who are some of your biggest winners from the 2020 NBA draft?
Yeah, well, I'm here in New York, and I'm going to say the Knicks are a winner. It's kind of crazy to talk about the Knicks as a winner since they've been dysfunctional for so long, and so many of my friends who are Knicks fans wonder if it's ever going to change. Look, a lot of people going into the draft expected them to take a point guard at number 8. They clearly need a point guard of the future on that roster. At number 8, they had a choice. They had, Obi Toppin was still there. He's a National Player of the Year from Dayton. He won all the awards, the Wooden Award, Naismith Award. They could have also gone in a different direction, taken Tyrese Halliburton from Iowa State. Point guard was still there. Those are two great options at number 8. And I understand that some people, think they should have taken a guard, but I think they made a smart decision there. The new brain trust with Leon Rose and Worldwide West and the scouting staff to take Obi Toppin. First of all, look, he's a local kid. He's from Brooklyn. He played a couple of years here at Ossining High School near me. He was obviously overwhelmed emotionally with joy with his family to be picked by the Knicks. So he's got a lot invested in playing well, but I think it's a good pick. You pick a solid, experienced, older guy. He's I think 22 or so. He's not a young kid. He's a really fun to watch in transition. He led Division I with 107 dunks last year. He's really fun in transition. So I think the fans watching on TV, if the point guards and guys in transition can get him the ball, he's going to put on a show, dunking it. He's not really a pure stretch 4, but maybe he can develop into that and show that he can shoot it from long range. So I think that was a great pick. And then I think the Knicks did some other good things there. They get Emmanuel Quickly, Kentucky guy who was the SEC Player of the Year at number 23. I mean, you remember the Knicks made all kinds of picks and traded, I think, 27 and 38 for 2 other picks. They wind up with 23, and now they're kind of, Kentucky North with, they got 4 Kentucky guys on the roster now with Quickly, Kevin Knox, who else am I forgetting? Julius Randle, and then they just added Nerlens Noel, and then they have Kenny Payne on staff. So, you're getting Kentucky guys, you're getting guys who expect to win, guys who've played at a high level, guys who've been coached to play the NBA game by John Calipari. So I think getting Quickly and Obi Toppin, and then they get my guy Miles Powell from Seton Hall, which I reported this week. They're bringing him in as an undrafted free agent to training camp. And I think that's a good move, obviously, for Miles, who's a local kid, a Trenton, New Jersey native. But Miles Powell, he's only 6'1", 6'2", but he can shoot it. He's going to be a microwave kind of, Vinnie Johnson type guy off the bench. I think he shot, 37% from 3 2 years ago and 38 or 39% as a sophomore. Last year went down a little because he was injured. He was double and triple teamed all of the time. But it's exciting for Miles to be able to get a shot to make the team out of training camp. And, he can score. So, I like what the Knicks did. They obviously missed out on Gordon Hayward. It doesn't look like they're going to get, Russell Westbrook. So they're not making the big, huge move here in free agency. And they're going to have to, get a more experienced point guard going forward. But I like what they're doing, getting Obi Toppin and bringing in some guys from Kentucky who know how to win. What do you think? Who'd you see as one of the big winners?
I thought the Denver Nuggets were a big winner in this draft. I know they got Zeke Nnaji from Arizona at number 22. He's a guy that he won Pac-12 Freshman of the Year last year. He can really help them, especially with his rebounding skills and ability to finish. That will be that's a great pick for them, I think. And then also getting RJ Hampton at 24. Hampton's a guy that played overseas this past year, and I know a lot of people have talked about him maybe slipping into the lottery. So getting him at 24, I think was great value for the Nuggets. He can be a guy that can play in that backcourt, and it might take him a few years to get a starting role, but I think that was a big steal for them at number 24.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see. RJ Hampton, you mentioned, obviously he and LaMelo Ball both, took the unorthodox route of basically skipping college and going to the Australian, NBL. RJ was a guy who was recruited, as you know, by, Memphis, Kentucky, Kansas, all the schools. So I think a lot of, NBA fans don't really know much about him because he went overseas. But he's, big 6'5", kind of, wing combo guard. And I think, he may struggle a little bit to adjust at first, but, in 2, 3, 4 years, it'll be really interesting to see how he progresses, right?
Yeah, exactly. I know a lot of college fans might not know about him, but here in Lawrence, Kansas, we certainly know about him because I know that after he made his decision to go overseas, he said that if he would have gone to college, he would have been playing for the Jayhawks at the University of Kansas. So I know that people out here have definitely been following him over this past year and are excited to see what he can do at the next level.
Yeah. As far as are we talking losers here? I'll say the Charlotte Hornets, Jacob, just because you combine free agency and the draft. I think everybody sort of is blown away that they gave $120 million 4 years to Gordon Hayward. I understand what Gordon Hayward's accomplished in his career. He's also had some pretty serious injuries, but that's a lot of money to be given to a guy like that. And then they take LaMelo at number 3, which you have to do. I guess that was the move there at number 3 after Anthony Edwards and James Wiseman are both gone. But I think it's unclear. How is he going to fit in with Devontae Graham and Terry Rozier? The guards that they already had, the point guards they already had in the backcourt. I'm not quite sure. I guess we'll see. I know Mike Schmitz and some people are really high on LaMelo as an offensive player, but let's keep in mind he only played like a dozen games last year in the the NBL. He didn't really he never played college. He's never really played a full season. So he's obviously talented. He's 6'7". He's got tremendous court vision. He's never been a true committed defender. So obviously it's going to be really interesting to see how he transitions, but and how he fits in with the chemistry of the team. How LeVar Ball, does he make his presence felt? Is he going to play MJ in one-on-one? I don't know. They did some interesting things there with, again, they had some Kentucky guys. They got Nick Richards, who's a guy I covered at St. Patrick High School in New Jersey, 6'11", shot blocking guy who really came along strong in his junior year at Kentucky. And then, it's kind of interesting. I reported they picked up Khalil Whitney on a Exhibit 10. He's a kid who was a McDonald's All-American, projected lottery pick. And then he made the decision to leave Kentucky midway through the year last year, which, a lot of people thought that was a little bit of a questionable decision. But, Khalil's a guy I know and I covered. And I'm kind of rooting for him to do well. So, they got a bunch of Kentucky guys too now, just like the Knicks. PJ Washington, Nick Richards, Malik Monk, Khalil Whitney on an Exhibit 10. So, interesting thing, a lot of interesting stories there. But just between giving Gordon Hayward all that money and the LaMelo situation, I'm gonna call them a loser. Who else do you see in that category?
Yeah, so I want to preface, I'm saying the Warriors. I want to preface it by saying I really liked what they did in the draft. I think getting Wiseman at 2 was a great pick. And then also getting Nico Mannion from Arizona all the way at the 48th pick. I think that could wind up being a really great pick down the line. And then they got a guy, Kelly Oubre, through trade. But I think when you lose a guy like Klay Thompson.
Former Kansas guy, right?
Former Kansas guy, that's right. But when you lose a guy like Klay Thompson, who obviously – he'll be missed for the entire season, second straight year that he'll miss the entire year. it's hard to say that they're a winner at all. I think that they're a they're a definite loser when you lose a guy like Klay Thompson. That's just, it took them from being uh, a potential a potential team to make the finals this year to maybe a middle of the road, borderline playoff team, losing Klay Thompson. They're a definite loser, but I do like what they did in the draft. And
I mean, yeah, it's just a devastating story. I think Klay Thompson's one of the most, well-liked, respected guys around the NBA. And, obviously he goes down last season, uh, you know, loses last season. Now he's out, until 2021, which seems a long way off. And, the Warriors went from being a team everybody thought would be right back in the thick of, challenging the Lakers basically in the West with Steph Curry and Draymond and Clay, and then you added James Wiseman, who's got a lot of upside. To now, you kind of have to wonder. They'll probably still challenge for a 5, 6, 7 type seed in the West as long as you have Steph and Draymond. But they're certainly not a favorite like they would have been.
Yeah, I do think that they did great work in the draft, and I think that a lot of that is going to be overshadowed by Clay's injury. But I don't think that what they did in the draft should be overlooked. I think that they did a really good job on Wednesday.
Yeah, and it's just crazy. I mean, just to kind of wrap it up and put a bow on it. I mean, these guys get drafted on Wednesday. Training camps start, December 1st, which is what, in a week from now. And then they're going to be playing NBA games in a month, and December 22nd. So normally, obviously, right, these guys would get drafted in June, play summer league, have training camp in the fall, be able to kind of work their way into the season, impress. Some guys like a Miles Powell would have more time to impress in a training camp. And now these guys are going bang, draft, move to your new city, training camp season right away. So, we'll have to see how that plays out with if it increases injuries and stuff like that. But, we'll get NBA basketball back quickly.
Exactly. And with this short time, a lot of these guys that are being drafted, they haven't played a real game since March of this past year. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of players can make an impact right away, and what guys will take some more time.
I agree. It'll be interesting to watch. There'll be plenty to write about. That's for sure.
Exactly. Well, Adam, thank you for joining me. You can find Adam on Twitter at Adam Zagoria. You can find myself on Twitter at Jacob Polacheck, and you can find all of our work on ZAGSBLOG.com. Adam, it was great having you on.
Thanks, my man. Keep it real. Stay safe.
You too.
Peace.
Peace.